I am not broadly speaking, a big fan of Senator Paul Rand. I think his ideas, Rand Paul, or Ayn Rand, for that matter.
Or Paul Ryan.
Or Paul Ryan. I think libertarianism is fanciful and ridiculous and silly. That doesn't mean that I don't have moments where I agree with people who are libertarians. And this is one of them. Rand Paul spoke on the Senate floor about a bill, or I should say a resolution, which was co-sponsored with Chris Murphy of Connecticut and Al Franken of Minnesota, to disapprove of a $500 million some odd deal that the U.S. has with Saudi Arabia. And it came pretty close, which is encouraging. But here is Rand Paul speaking about the implications of this bill. Remember, Saudi Arabia, in addition to us still engaging in a drone war which has less constraints than even the one that Barack Obama was waging in terms of Yemen, constraints on protecting civilians. We are also selling weapon systems and supporting Saudi Arabia, which is engaged in it's all hard to call it a war in some ways because it's just it's so one-sided. But it is a war with Yemen that is causing incredible suffering. Here's Rand Paul talking about it.
How bad is it in Yemen? 17 million people live on the edge of starvation. Some, like Ali, have already died. What are people saying about it? They say that the humanitarian crisis in Yemen may be worse than Syria. Let me repeat that because nobody in America is listening to this. Everybody's paying attention to some silly show trials and silly stuff going on in committees. Nobody's talking about this at all. They say it is worse than Syria. Millions of people have fled Syria. Hundreds of thousands have died. And people are now predicting Yemen may be worse. One refugee group said this, that the impending famine in Yemen may reach biblical proportions. Think about that. It's astounding what's going on there, and it's being done without your permission, but with your weapons. So today I will force a vote with Senator Murphy's help, who's been a prime mover in this, to tell you the truth, and done a great job in bringing people together. But we will force this vote for these children in Yemen because we have a chance today to stop the carnage. We have a chance to tell Saudi Arabia we've had enough. The question is, should we give money or arms to Saudi Arabia at all? What has Saudi Arabia done over the last 30 years? They have been the #1 exporter of jihadist philosophy, the #1 exporter of let's hate America, let's hate Judeo-Christian ethic, let's hate the Judeo-Christian tradition. It's coming from Saudi Arabia. They teach it in the schools in our country. They teach it in the schools in Indonesia. They corrupt the religion of Islam throughout the world. And we're going to give them weapons? I think it's a huge, huge mistake.
And just to be clear, obviously, what's going on in Yemen is a civil war, but also largely a proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Frankly, we see so much of what's going on in the Middle East. Saudis just have a tremendous amount of cash and ability to fund these type of things, and apparently to buy weapons from us to propagate them. Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos?